What's up, IG? What's up? What's up? Come on in. I know it's late. It is 9:51 Central Standard Time, which means that it's 10:51 on the East Coast. Let's see if we have anyone awake tonight. I know it is a little later than normal. What's up, Micah? What's up, Amanda? What's up, Dr. Cecilia? Yon, Leslie, Nicole, Amanda, Karen, Lavish Life. Come on in, come on in. What's up, Miss Kena Lene? Renisha, how are y'all doing? What's up, Jasmine? I meant to call you back. I've had a busy evening. I will talk with you hopefully tomorrow. Brother Anthony McClure. What's up, Trend? I see Empress in. Come on in. What's up, everybody? On a good old Tuesday. On a Tuesday. What's good? What's good? What's up, Taylor? I see another Anthony coming on. Good evening, Renisha. Good evening. I am Deb 5. Shauna. Yes, Micah, on a Tuesday. How are you doing, Miss Phyllis? Come on in. Listen, what's good? What's good? If you all are in the I am good, Miss Kena Lene. Today has been a productive day, so that's good. Hey, Marissa. Hey, Ernest. And I was going to go live on Sunday, but Sunday night I was at Taylor's birthday party and got home late. Tell Taylor happy late birthday. My husband and I are what Taylor calls his Dallas parents. He is a sophomore in college up here, and it was fun to stop by and see that he is quite the popular man on campus. He had about 50 deep in his dorm, which he has an amazing dorm. So it's not the normal size dorm. It's kind of like a house. It's okay, Taylor. So we were with Taylor and I got home late. Then I don't know what happened last night, but I didn't make it on last night. I almost didn't make it tonight. And I just said, I'm going to go ahead and go live. Hey, Jazz. Hey, I don't know if that's Mama Cease. I'm not sure. Mamicess. Cherie Moss, Black Enterprise. But it is good to see y'all. Ramesia, I cannot believe you are awake on the East Coast. So yeah, that's what happened on Sunday night. I don't know what happened on Monday night. And tonight, I was like, I know it's late, but I'm going to jump on. God bless you too, Cherie Moss. So I am happy to hop on, I'm knocking my camera around. Ramesia, I promise you, we need to see each other face to face before 2022 is over. It's been too long that we've had this virtual relationship. Ramesia, I started attending my classes back in 2020. And I would like to say I do have some classes that are coming soon. Hi, Magnus. They will be announced soon. So those are coming. But Ramesia took a couple of my classes multiple times back from 2020 on through 2021. And so we bonded during that time. Hey, Jada, how are you? Are you in California yet, Jada? Did you leave? Yes, I will always love you too, virtual or not. I keep knocking this camera around. Okay, Magnus from Ghana. Praise the Lord. Welcome to Sunday night check-in on a Tuesday, since I'm late. Yeah, I'm hopping on tonight. If you are not in the Dallas area, perhaps you saw on the news in your areas that we have mass flooding here. What is interesting, my day has been good, Jalen. My day has been good. I don't know what the sermon is for tonight, Ernest, but we just gonna see where we end up. Okay, Jada, make sure to send me your new info. Kim Carter. So if you are not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, perhaps you heard that we had a lot of rain on Sunday night that resulted in mass flooding. And so we had a lot of cars stranded. We had people that had to be rescued. We received 10 inches of rain, in one night. And you may say, well, why does that matter? Why is that important, Elder Dobbins? You know, I was listening to my husband on the phone yesterday when someone called to check on us to see if we were okay. And the area where we live was not greatly impacted because we don't live in the city limits of Dallas, and that's who received the majority of the rain. We live in a suburb kind of northeast. And when we spoke to our friend, it was something my husband said that really, really resonated in my spirit. And you know me, I can preach anything. And this wasn't necessary a preach, but it is something that I sensed in my spirit that was somewhat of prophetic as he said it. As he said it, I began to hear it spiritually, not just with my natural ear or not just audibly, but it began to resonate in my spirit as he began to talk about that we had 10 inches of rain in one night. We were in a drought, so much so that the mentorship program that my husband is over, he was preparing and planning to take the boys or the young boys that they mentor fishing on September 10th. And our lakes were so low, he had to reschedule because of the drought. We did not have enough water. I don't know why my eyes keep looking funny to me. I don't have on my normal glasses. We didn't have enough water in our area. And in one night, we went from not enough water to really technically being in a drought. Some of our land all around here we've been seeing grass fires on the side of the interstate because it's been so hot and we've not had enough moisture, enough precipitation. In one night, we received 10 inches. In one night, we went from a drought to overflow. So much overflow that when they begin to measure the amount of water that we received, and they begin to measure it against the statistics of other months of August, meaning in previous years, August of 2020, August of 2021, August of 2019, August of 2018, 2017, August of 1995, August of 1905. When they begin to measure this August of 2022 against all the others in history, we are now number 3 in history in the amount of precipitation that we have received. We went in 24 hours from being in a drought to now being 3rd in history in the amount of precipitation that we have received when you base it on all the other stats, from all the years that they were taking stats. They can now say that we are 3rd place in history when just on Sunday morning, we were in a drought. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if you caught in one day, we went from not enough to more than enough. In one day, we went from not enough water in our lakes to go fishing in some areas to having to rescue people because we have so much water. Thank you, Jasmine. The drought is over. I don't know who needs to hear it, but I prophesied this back, I believe, in the month of June, that I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, the drought is over. Now we have a natural sign, a natural indicator that the drought is over. And I don't know what you've been praying for. I don't know what you've been believing for. I don't know if it looks like it's dried up. I don't know if it seems like that you don't have enough, that you're in a season of lack. And sometimes we always equate lack to finances. Lack can be in finances, but it is not always finances. Sometimes it can be the lack of peace, a lack of knowing what to do in the next season, a lack of love, a lack of community, a lack, whatever the lack is, whatever the deficiency is, where you were in a drought. I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying, the drought is over. In 24 hours, there was a supernatural shift. And actually, it was less than 24 hours. It was overnight. It was overnight that we woke up and we were in what they said. We now went from having not enough water, worried about the grass catching on fire. We saw a grass fire being put out on the side of the road last week. The policeman had that corridor. They had it blocked off so that they could come and get the firemen to put the fire out. Till this week, we are saturated. I need you to catch that. Somebody say the rain was coming so fast that the land could not contain it. Oh, you didn't catch that. The water was coming so fast that the rain or the land, could not contain it. It could not even absorb it fast enough, because even though the land needed the water was coming so fast, the land could not hold it. And I believe that the Spirit of the Lord is saying to you and to me that the things that have been held up for you, the things that are about to come into an overflow in your life, they are coming so quickly that you are not going to be able to contain it. It is going to be a supernatural overflow. An overflow. So much so that when we came home today and our sprinkler system was supposed to have normally be set for in the morning, it was on when we got home this evening, and we had to go rush to turn the water off because our yard, the front yard, did not need any more water because it was already oversaturated with water. Oversaturated. The Lord has been speaking to us since the month of April. Hey, Brother Anthony. Hey, Aletta. Since the month of April. It was April the 8th that the Holy Spirit said 3 words at Closing the Gap. He said recompense, repayment, and reward. I feel the Spirit. I got to pull it back. I'm trying to hold it back so I can speak. Not hold it back so I quench him, but hold it back so I can speak. I am now hearing a company of prophets. There are a company of prophets, and I am not saying that they heard this from me. No, I'm not saying that. I know they heard it from God, that have begun to say throughout the whole month of July. I heard one preaching on repayment season. Now I am hearing in the month of August them talk about recompense. And the Lord told us on August 8th that this is the season of recompense, repayment, and reward. And he told me to continue to repeat that in your hearing, because faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And sometimes when we hear a prophetic word, if it does not come to pass immediately, you think that it bypassed you, or you have heard so many prophetic words in the past. You have had so many things spoken to you that you have never seen manifested in your life, that even when you hear a word, you don't necessarily receive it. You may act like you're happy about it. You may say amen. You may say hallelujah. But somewhere in your heart, on the inside, you think, well, this is not for me. This is going to be a blessing that's for someone else. This is going to be a blessing that someone else is going to receive. Hey, Monique, but I came to remind you. I'm going to remind you periodically, because the Lord told me to continue to say those 3 words for the remainder of this year until you receive recompense, repayment, and reward in your house. until you receive recompense. That is compensation for an injury, whether that injury was to your soul, whether that injury was to your spirit man, whether that injury occurred at work, whether that injury was in your physical body, whatever the enemy sent to injure you, to harm you, to come against you, recompense is yours. Recompense, repayment, and reward is yours. And the water that came through Dallas is a sign that it can happen overnight. That you can go to sleep one way and wake up looking like you're in a whole different season. That you can go to sleep in lack and overnight operate out of abundance. That you can go to sleep overnight. And I want to reiterate this. Yes, abundance and lack is oftentimes talking about finances, but I'm not just talking about finances, because somebody needs abundance of health. Somebody needs to be healed. They need to be healed, that they have fasted and they have prayed and they have labored. And listen to me, I'm going to tell you, last week it got real heavy on here and I did not post that video. Some of you may not even know that I went live, and I began to tell you that the Spirit of the Lord was getting ready to expose enemies. And I told you that on last, I believe it was Tuesday night. I believe that I went live and then I took the live down. I did not post the live. After I sat with the Holy Spirit, I knew that word was just for whoever had it. But I wanted to come back and tell you all that there are some of you have been praying for things, and you have been praying and you have been diligent. And this was the case for me. There was a particular area that I had been praying for. I had been consistent in prayer. I had been faithful in prayer. And I was beginning to say, Lord, I am doing what you have told me to do. Why is this situation not moving? Why is it not changing? And in less than 24 hours, he revealed the root of the problem. That the root of the problem was something that had he not revealed, I would not know how to more accurately pray. And I'm telling you, I have already begun to see the fruit of what God revealed, the fruit of changing and adjusting my prayer by what God revealed. And I'm going to tell you this, when God reveals a thing, sometimes you want to be overcome with emotion, because it was something that he revealed that was kind of hurtful to me, because I was praying for a family member to be healed. And what was revealed was something that was kind of hurtful to me to learn. It wasn't about them. It was something else. But I had to be able to resist the urge to be emotional and stand in faith and take authority over that which God had revealed. Listen, whatever it is that God is exposing in this season, you're going to have to resist the urge. See, last week I told you, resist the urge to fight with people. Resist the urge to fight with people. Because you are not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. And so you're going to resist the urge to fight against people, but you're going to also resist the urge to be emotional. Resist the urge to succumb to whatever the feelings are. Because you remember, I believe it's 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk by faith and not by sight. I want to even say we don't even walk by how we feel. We cannot allow our actions to be dictated by how we feel, because our feelings change. Listen to me, your feelings aren't bad. You've been given feelings for a reason, but you have also been given, by way of the Holy Spirit, temperance, and you have been given the ability to manage your emotions. And oftentimes we aren't taught to manage our emotions. We're either taught to get rid of our emotions, or that the emotions are bad. The emotions are not bad, but the emotions were never given the authority to lead you. Your emotions were never, that's why the Bible says things like be angry and sin not. So therefore, the anger is not a sin, but the subsequent action. If you cannot manage the anger, thus that's why they call it anger management when you have to take a class. If you cannot manage the anger, then the anger leads you to sin. The Bible gives you permission, meaning God gives you permission to be angry. There are times when you should be angry. There is righteous indignation when you have been wronged. You can feel angry when your children, when your loved ones, whatever it is. But he also says, be angry, but sin not. So your anger does not give you a license to sin. Your anger is not bad. The sin is bad. So let's break it down. Be angry, but don't cuss everybody out. Be angry, but don't go and slap somebody across the face. Be angry and don't go and run somebody's name in the ground just because they have wronged you. Be angry. Don't let anger take you out of your place and your position before God. Listen, I don't know why we're talking about anger right now, but the Bible says anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. I want you to hear that. Anger resteth. That means anger has positioned itself to rest in your heart. Anger should not rest in your heart. That's why the Bible also says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Meaning whatever you are angry about, before you go to bed, it needs to be resolved so that you do not wake up with that same anger, because anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. If you go down to bed with anger, anger is now resting even when you're resting. That's why you don't even get a good night's sleep, because anger is working on the inside of you. And the Bible says anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. Be angry, but sin not. So he gives you the formula how to be angry and sin not, or how not to let anger rest in your bosom. He says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Don't let the end of the day hit. Don't lay your head on the pillow. I'm not telling you something I haven't had to work on myself. Sometimes you have to lay down and talk it out with God until you can get that and release that anger. Because what you want to be is someone that is yielded to the Spirit of God. Listen, this is one of the reasons why you don't want to be led by your emotions, because the Bible tells us to be led by the Spirit. So if I'm not being led by the Spirit and I'm being led by my emotions, I'm actually disobeying God, because I am to walk after the Spirit and not walk after the flesh. My emotions are associated with the flesh. That's why the Bible says if you walk after the Spirit, you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. We always think of lust associated with sex, but it's not just with sex. It's whatever you're being enticed to do, whatever the enemy is trying to draw you away with. That's why the book of James says that every man, when he is tempted, is drawn away by his own lust. Somebody's lust is sexual. Somebody's lust is anger. Somebody's lust is lying. Somebody's lust is cheating. Somebody's lust is manipulation. Every man, when he is tempted, is drawn away. Every man, when he is tempted, you are drawn away from the Spirit. You are drawn away from God by your own, O-W-N. That indicates ownership, his own lust. So you're drawn away by your own lust. I'm drawn away by my own lust. Therefore, we walk after the Spirit so that we do not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So when that anger rises up, and I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry, you just don't have a right to keep it. You don't have a right to hold on to the anger. You don't have a right to operate in the anger. You just have a right to be angry, but sin not. Be angry, but sin not. I don't know how we got to anger. I don't know who needed that. I don't know how we started off talking about abundance and overflow, recompense, repayment, reward. I don't even remember how the flow of God went, but somebody needed to hear that about anger. Let me say another thing to you about anger. Anger is generally never a first emotion. It's almost always a secondary emotion. What do you mean by that? You get embarrassed first, but now you're angry. If you think about it, you were fearful first, but now you're angry. Anger is never really the first emotion. It is the response to the initial pain that you felt. I'm going to say that again. It is the response. Yes, it's the response to being hurt. It's the response to being disappointed. Anger is the response to being sad. Anger is the response to going through grief. Anger is the response to feeling overlooked. Anger is the response to betrayal. Anger is the response for them lying on you. It is the response for whatever you initially felt. It is never the first emotion. Wherever there is anger, I challenge you to dig and find the root of it. I'm just giving examples now. Now I feel a flow. So I'm still mad at your mother. Hey, Minister Sharon, you're still mad at your mother, but you're 35. Because that anger is a response to feeling abandoned when you were 11. That anger is the response for feeling unloved at 12. That anger is a response. When we look at all the childhood things that we are still angry about as adults, it is because it is a response to a need that went unmet when you were young. And so anger now as an adult says, I'm not going to even talk to them. I'm not talking to them. I have removed myself from my family. But really it is the response to you feeling like your family never loved you. It's a secondary emotion. It's a secondary emotion. I challenge you, wherever there is anger, ask God to reveal the fruit, the root. I'm angry, but really it's fear. I'm fearful, but I don't want to be vulnerable enough to say I'm scared. So rather than saying I'm scared, I'll say I'm mad. It's a secondary emotion. It's a secondary emotion. Anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. It's in the book of Proverbs. Be angry, but sin not. It's okay to get angry, but it is not okay for anger to live inside of you. It is not okay to be angry about the same thing for 5 years. It is not okay to be angry for 10 years. All of that anger is rooted in unforgiveness. It's rooted in bitterness. And it's rooted, thank you, Holy Spirit, in the inability or the lack of trust in God. And you say, how do you say that, Elder Thomas? I don't know. I just heard that by the Spirit, so let's flow with him. The reason I say it's rooted in the lack of trust in God is because you're still mad at people for what they did not do for you, what they did not give you. And in the right season, that was okay. But after a span of time and of years, even when people apologize, they sometimes cannot make amends for what they did or did not do. And sometimes you hold on to the anger because you feel like they have not paid for how they handle you, whether it was what they did to you or whether they withheld from you. And why I say it's connected to a lack of trust in God, it is the inability to really believe that God is going to make up for everything they did or didn't do in your life. Every void, every loneliness, every root of bitterness, every bit of feeling unloved, unvalued, God is going to make up the difference. And if you can just believe that he does love you, if you can just believe that he loves you with an everlasting love. If you can just not just believe it, but receive it, that he will never leave you nor forsake you, that it doesn't matter what anyone else did to you or against you, that God's love is going to fill every void. Hallelujah. Every void. That's every empty space. Sometimes we don't recognize empty spaces. See, some people know they have a void. Some people don't. Let me tell you what that void looks like. The need to measure up. The need to always compare to others. The need to be better than others. The need to be, sometimes the void is the need to be recognized in a way that you felt you were never recognized as a child. All of these things, sometimes we know the people that are crying and the people that are acting crazy, or what we call crazy, or the people that will go off in a minute, and the people that will cuss you out. We know that there is a root there, but we don't recognize the root in the overachiever, that the person that has 5 degrees and look like they're doing everything right and wrestle with perfectionism and wrestle with being better than everyone, and you don't even know that they're wrestling with being with everyone. They just feel like, if I achieve this, once they achieve this, now I got to achieve this, and once they achieve this, I got to achieve this, and I got to keep on achieving, I got to keep on achieving, I got to keep on achieving, because I'm trying to fill the void. The void of being a motherless child. The void of not receiving love and safety in the areas where God ordained us to receive love and safety at home. The void of not having both of your parents. The void, wherever it is, God in his mind, in the mind of God, intended for your family to be the womb and to be the prism of you being launched into the world as a healthy, whole person. Yet for some people, it was the opposite. That void. That's the void. That void. And so while we can recognize the voids in some they're overlooked. And it's my prayer that you go to God tonight. God, show me where I'm still angry. Thank you, Lord. Even if you're still angry at him. Somebody on here is angry at God. I've been there. I understand it. And he understands it. But wherever the anger resides, Edith, I promise I will put this one on my YouTube, which is Christy Dobbins. I will load it up on my YouTube tonight before I go to bed. Wherever the anger resides, even if you're angry with God, open your mouth and say, Lord, I'm angry. I feel like you let me down. I feel like you're blessing everybody but me. Lord, I feel like you are answering everybody's prayers but mine. Lord, I feel like I'm doing what you asked me to do, and it still doesn't seem to be enough. Whatever it is, Lord, I'm angry. I'm angry that you let my mother die. I'm angry that this was my prayer, that my mother and my brother were killed in a car accident. Lord, I'm angry that you left me here without her. Lord, how do you expect me to do this without her? All he's waiting for is you. Somebody has taught us, don't talk to God like that. And that was actually the trick of the enemy. Because he wants us to talk to him from our heart. He can be touched by the feelings of your infirmity. Lord, I'm angry that my husband walked out, left me to raise these kids, whatever it is. And listen to me, sometimes you have to tell him more than once until that anger lives. I don't know about you, but see, when I get a certain kind of angry or mad, I feel it right here. It's that tightness in the chest. Sometimes you got to talk it out to him until you feel that leave, because that's impacting your whole body. And you want that to be released from your body. Holding it in is your body walking around holding in anger. And your body eventually will reveal to you where you've been angry. It may come out in ulcers. It may come out in a cramp. It may come out in different ways. But eventually your body will say, I can't hold this anymore. I can't contain this anymore. I can't function like this anymore. And now it's like you're fighting against yourself. Your body is saying, let it out so that we can live, so that we can be free. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yep, anxiety and headaches. Your body is giving you a sign so that you can be free. Hallelujah. Ooh, Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 You know, one of my sons, everybody has their thing. He was going through something and, he didn't want to cry about it. And I had to, we think of men always not wanting to cry, but there are some women who try to hold in those tears. And I just told him, I said, listen, right now, you got to let this out. And you need to let it out and talk to God. So if you need to get in the shower so that you can't tell where the tears and the water is mixing, however you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but if you got to get in the shower and let the tears run down with the water, however you've got to do it, you've got to do it. You've got to release it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just release it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just release it. Hallelujah. Breathe. That's how man became a living soul, is he breathed the breath of life, the Ruach, the Spirit of God was breathed into mankind. Let it out. And I'm telling you, just how Tran is typing Jesus, 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 if you can't do anything but cry and say Jesus, it's a perfect prayer. Because when you call his name, you're calling on your healing. Thank you, Lord. When you call his name, there's your deliverance. When you call his name, there's your freedom. Because when you call his name, you're acknowledging the finished work that he's already done. He's already given you healing. He's already paid for your deliverance. He's already given you salvation. He's already done it. Jesus. 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 Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, I love you. Yep, he speaks tears. He understands your tears. Hallelujah. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. I didn't know we were going to end up here. If you are just getting on, I will post this on my YouTube. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Christy Dobbins. We started off talking about the drought is over and used the floods here in Dallas, that overnight we went from being in a drought to being oversaturated. And somehow we went from there to recompense, repayment, and reward. But we ended up talking about anger. If you've ever wrestled with anger, please go back and listen to this live. Thank you, Jasmine. Jasmine has put it in the comments. Also, I believe it's in my link tree as well. But if you want to keep up with this, Jasmine, if you can put the numbers in there, as I said, if you want to keep up with what's going on with Christy Dobbins Ministries, please send a text message. Thank you for those of you who decided to sow. God bless you. A text message that says CDM for Christy Dobbins Ministries. If you text the letter CDM CDM to 888-458-1656. Thank you, Billy. 888-458-1656, and I pinned it. Type CDM. Jessica, you can sow at $ Christy Dobbins, or you can sow at the link in my bio. There is a donate button. Once you click the link tree in my bio, there is a donate button there as well. CDM to 888-458-1656. I am speaking on August 29th here in Dallas. I think we sent out already one reminder to those who already were on the text message. I will get that flyer. I think they're working on that flyer and try to post it by the end of the week, or post it at least in my stories a couple of days, because that's next Monday. And I know it's a Monday night. The link in my bio allows you to sow, and it allows you to click the text message list with one click as well. Hey, sincerely, Chelsea, you're going to have to catch the replay. I will post it on, yes, don't do the Elder Christie. That's fake. Elder Christie is not me. Either do $ Christy Dobbins or click the link in my bio. But Elder Christie is not me. I think, Billy, can you go ahead and just put the $ Christy Dobbins? I don't know who Elder Christie is. I believe some other people have sent her money, but she is not me. But you can, it's okay, sincerely. Oh, Micah, I'm sorry. I did not know. Sincerely, Chelsea, I am going to post it in just a few minutes on YouTube. So I speak on August 29th. Closing the Gap is September the 10th at 10 a.m. And for now, those are all of the Sounding Like I'm at Church announcements that I have. There is Pastor Dobbins coming on. I don't know if he was trying to join me. But I I would love to come to Detroit. I would love to come to Detroit. I have actually a couple of friends there in Detroit. So I will, thank you. No, Shawnee, I can never be duplicated. And y'all, those fake pages, I received so many, messages and DMs about those fake pages, but some people sent money to that orphanage or something. Y'all, those people didn't even have good grammar. Do not send people. I will not DM you and ask you for money. Yes, there is prayer tomorrow morning. Oh, now I got to think of that number. Oh, for those who don't know, we have prayer at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. I believe, Jasmine, yes, they had really, really, really bad grammar. And not to say that I don't make mistakes, but I am the person that goes back and rereads my captions and corrects them. You know, sometimes you're typing and you put something out there, and I am the person that goes back and corrects them, or I have a Billy or a Jasmine that sends me a text and says, did you mean to say this? And I'm like, y'all know I didn't mean to say that. Thank you, Jasmine. I thought that was the number, 951-981. Oh, it's a lot of numbers. But Billy mentioned the prayer. The prayer call number is there as well. I'll give y'all a couple of minutes to I guess I can't pin oh, yes, I can. I'll give y'all. Oh, it switched then to what was pinned. My bad. The prayer call number, that is... Jessica, the best way is to sign up for that text message, because we are sending them all out. We've sent it out for next Monday, but I'm going to send it again this tomorrow probably. Because they did not give, they're working on that flyer for that, because they've kind of advertised it amongst their people. So I'm just really telling y'all that I'm speaking there. But I speak at the Roseland Community Center in Dallas, Jessica, on Monday, the 29th. If you all would like to join us tomorrow a.m. for 6 a.m. prayer, it is 951-981-7106. No access code is needed. And if you're not getting all of these numbers, I am going to post this live on my YouTube within the next hour. You can go and find it, and it's okay, Jessica. It's okay. She said, we talking about bad grammar, and she made a mistake. It's okay. It's okay. In real time, it's definitely okay. So they're trying to get me to say that I speak in Jamaica in November. But that's in November. I speak in November. I'll put the phone number in my story when I get off. Thank you, Billy. I will put the prayer call in the morning at 6 a.m. in my story as soon as we get off. That I will do. And I will remove it right after we finish praying, because I have people sometimes that see the story late and they don't read the time, and I can see when they dial into the number throughout the day. God bless you, Brother Anthony. I believe that's all of the church announcements we have tonight. Thank you all. The Spirit of the Lord really did move. For those of you all who did not come on, I think I'll be in New Jersey right across the water before the year is out. I do need I do need an assistant, Jessica. I do. All my people have told me that. I will do another live one day this week. I was going to say, I wasn't sure if Pastor Dobbins was trying to do a live together. If he is trying to do a live together, I was going to tell you all, let me jump off and end this one and jump back on with him, because I want to save this at the amount that whatever amount of time I've been here. I don't want it to be really, really long. But I didn't know if he was just jumping on or if he was trying to do something together. But it looks like he was just jumping on. Yes, we do have praise reports for recompense, repayment, and reward. We will start giving that. She said, yes, let's do that. Let's do that. So I am going to end this live. If he wants to hop back on and flow, we'll see. But I want to make this one, hopefully it's right about an hour so that when I post, oh Lord, you did not know. So clearly he's not getting on the live anytime soon, according to his comments. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Help the man of God. Maybe me and Pastor Thomas can come on one night this week. He's in the spirit, I guess. Hey, Audra. All right, he is funny, Leslie. He is. Oh, she's now trying to add it to the shower analogy I gave earlier. Yeah. All right. Love you all. And I'll be back on. Thank you, Brother Anthony. Thank you. Thank you. I will be back on one night this week. I am going to try to get back in the rhythm of things and back consistent. I know. I warned y'all at the beginning of the year, though, that those Sunday night check-ins were not going to forever be every Sunday night. But I am jumping on as I can. God bless you all. Love you, Miss Keena Lene, Trin. Love you too, Brother Anthony. Not the bubbles. Leslie, don't do him. Don't make him. No. Again, for those of you who all came on toward the end, please go back and listen to this. I will post this on YouTube. The YouTube is Christy Dobbins. Please subscribe to Christy Dobbins on YouTube. It costs you absolutely nothing. And I will put the prayer call number in my story tonight. God bless you all. Have a good night. Love y'all. Have a good one.